Okay, scrolling. So my first question is to say, well, there is the forum, there is like the Parc Agro-Industriel, there is like the World Bank, also very active. Is it the sign of a new dynamic for agriculture in DRC? Do you see the sign of something new happening here?
Well, first of all, I am not a big expert on Congo personally, so I'm not feel comfortable to report on the success of DRC. But definitely what I can say, based on my experience in other parts of the world, that agribusiness is definitely a big engine for economic growth. And I think government which support agribusiness making the very smart job. It is agribusiness is normally small investment and quick investment. So they are associated, such investments are associated with a smaller risk. So when you start it, you immediately create a lot of jobs, especially for youth, especially youth which lives in rural area. It's immediately involve gender, women in the business, because in majority of cases, small agribusiness enterprises run by women, and today we saw this case across the continent. And then it brings agriculture, because productive and efficient agriculture without agribusiness means nothing, and you produce the losses. Because food in the current world, it's not what in the field, it's what on the plate. And this is a big journey from field to the plate today. So from my point of view, agribusiness in such countries as DRC and countries with a similar economic situation is extremely important and hopeful.
And what are the conditions to make this investment in agribusiness inclusive? Because that's part of the...
Yes, it's extremely important. First of all, we need to start from political environment. First of all, the government should create the environment which make it possible. Second, inclusiveness, I would like to emphasize, and it's very important for FAO now, because, well, many big businesses speak about inclusiveness, but they speak it regarding the smallholders, small agricultural producers. And for them, it is just simple sustainability of their supply chain. They want to have the small producers involved in their chain, and this is all inclusiveness. But on this other side, as I already told previously, small agribusiness enterprise is extremely important for the country development. And if the big business come here and kick out the small and medium enterprises crowd out them from the chain, then it's not inclusive. We need to be inclusive in the sense that all small valid actors along value chain can be part of the game. It also the same with wholesale actors, with retailers. It must be all along the chain. We need to consider inclusiveness of, again, underline valid actors, not inclusiveness at expense of efficiency. How to achieve it? There are plenty of tools and mechanisms. It's contract farming, which we participate in developing a legal guide, and which will be launched in June this year as a guide for the governments how they can facilitate it. It's different financial schemes which allows to include smallholders, which for them very often access to finance is a very big barrier for inclusiveness. For instance, such tools as a warehouse as receipts, which allows smallholders get access to finance. There are a lot of mechanisms with a small technologies addressed to the smallholders. It's also extremely important. There is a human capital, which is a key element of all of that, because today inclusiveness sometimes not productivity. Today it is a compliance with the quality standards. And to comply with the standards today, it's very difficult. You need to get knowledge about that. So trainings, governmental enabling the by policy and a lot of already available tools, but which available on the international level, not necessarily for the national players.
What we hear sometimes, sometimes it's coming from the NGO world, you know, they are still like pushing for more kind of grassrooted farmer organizations with autonomy and some agro-ecological kind of approaches. Does that mean that this is not meant to work? It has to be like put away to start with a new model?
No, I would not say because there is no antagonism, there is no between these approaches. Definitely, well, just small example, if I'm big big buyer coming to this market, I don't know, Auchan comes to Congo and want to buy something local product. I have a trade-off to buy from one bigger producer, or two bigger producers, or to collect from 1,000 small. Well, absolutely clear how private sector will behave. Well, transaction costs will be enormous if I will collect from small, if I have a choice, of course. If I have no choice, no question. So smallholders can win in this competition only when they are united, when they can organize themselves to get valid lots of product to deliver, and second, to gain bargaining power with a big player. So these associations, cooperatives, all other type of unions of the producers are extremely important in the competition, and especially it's important in the situation when there is a two types of the producers in the country, where there are big producers and small producers. In this situation, smallholders normally lose. They, by all means, should create these unions, cooperatives, or whatever. If this is homogeneous situation when everyone small, the big buyer will come, he has no other choice. He will buy, somehow adjust to buy from the smallholders. But such homogeneous situation exists very rarely in the world.
So maybe the last question, and then what would be the main recommendation to the government? Because he has a key role to play in that process of transforming the agriculture sector in DRC.
Well, if it will be so easy to give the advice to the government, it will be paradise in this globe. Well, we know that there is no simple answers for such a difficult questions. What I mentioned, all of that should be taken in consideration and applied for this particular country conditions, national conditions. But what I would strongly recommend, if to be short, it's human capital is crucial. We need to increase knowledge in each level of the food chain. Only this can create a lot of potential.
But globally, you feel optimistic?
Well, we have no other choice. We have no other way. We should be optimistic. Well, I think it's a heavy road, but it's and it's a road we go. We are moving.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. And